Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Ninja Selling Podcast. He's Garrett, I'm Matt, and thank you guys, as always, for joining us. If for some reason this is your very first time listening to this podcast and you're like, what is even Ninja Selling? I don't know what this is. Head over to ninjaselling.com. You can learn all about the trainings and coaching and all of the wonderful things that are available to you in one of the best real estate systems that exists out there. And if you want to find a community of people who listen to the podcast and collaborate about real estate and other things, go to Facebook and search for the Ninja Selling Podcast. You'll find a group over 16,000 people. It's amazing. You can join it. All you have to do is click the join and then answer some very simple questions. There's no right answer to those. You just need to answer them so that we know that you actually intended to be in the group. And then voila, you are in. If for some reason you're like, I answered the question, I'm not in, Facebook messes up sometimes and doesn't deliver the answers. So just go and rejoin and answer the questions again, and it'll probably work that time. That all said, Mr. Garrett, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Brunelli.
Thank Mr. Brunelli, very formal. Mr. Fry. I didn't know we were having a button-up episode today. I would have worn my bow tie.
Sorry. Mr. Matt, how's it going, man?
Very good, man. Well, so we got to talk about business development today, right? Or otherwise known as EyeTime in the Pie Time concept here, which I stands for indirectly productive time.
Yeah.
And we've broken down Pie Time before in a prior episode. So if you really want to know the nuts and bolts of that, you can go search the podcast history to find that and learn a little bit more about that. But what we really want to talk about is, why is this EyeTime so important and how often should you be doing this stuff? So let's dive in.
I think the importance of going down this route today, Matt, is I watch a lot of people that get caught in the moment of thinking that the number one goal is P time. P time is time you get paid for. It's time that you're working one-on-one with a client in a selling situation. And they're always is going like, I got to get there. I got to get there. I got to get there. I need to go show property. I need to find new clients. I need to be able to, go on listing presentations. And they focus so hard on that time right there. And when they get into it, they feel really productive. Like, we're here, we did it. We're like, I spent my entire day showing property, did a listing presentation, wrote an offer. And it's like celebration. And you do want to celebrate it. And it is good stuff. But when it comes to having a long-term successful business that you can count on, that isn't the time. That is not anywhere near the time that you can say, I have a successful business that I can produce predictable results with. P time will not get you there. It's a byproduct of the things you did that create a successful business, but it is not what makes a successful business. And this is where EyeTime is so incredibly important. And it's funny, is this people like fit in EyeTime where it's like convenient. It's like, I'll see if I can get to some today, or I'll see if I can fit some in. And very easy when we have them do their check-ins for the week. It's kind of like, I did my best. Did you talk to 50 people? I got to 30. But at least I got 30 in.
Yeah.
Did you write notes? Oh yeah. I got a handful of notes out. Did you get 10? No, not 10, but I got some out. I got 2 out. I feel, I know I could do more next week. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is the most important time. These activities, these things are the core of what makes a successful business. And we try to kind of fit it in this search of, I want to show property. I want to list properties. I want to have, more closings. I want to have more paychecks. We focus on that so much that we don't realize the connection.
Yeah, we don't. And I think part of it is because we don't want to feel like we're prospecting all the time or always hunting for business. But when you look at the I would also make it important, right?
Oh,
the I stands for indirectly productive, but it really also stands for important, the most important. And when we look at our, the time matrix, right, where you have urgent, important, non-urgent, not important, business is created and generated in the importance quadrant. Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Leads. Great book, by the way, if you're looking to build anything, really. He talks about, he's like, the most important thing that you need for your business is leads, quote unquote. Now, when we say leads in the real estate space, people are like, oh, buying leads and all this stuff. Leads are yuck. And I'm like, okay, but forget that definition of leads and focus on a lead just being somebody who you can communicate with and somebody who is interested in your service, right?
Yep.
Well, the more people you talk to, the more people you're going to find who might be interested in your service, which will lead to opportunities to talk about your service. But if you don't talk to people, if we're not out there having the conversations, if we don't have blocked time to communicate and build quality relationships, it's going to be really hard to have the P time, right? Which is where we're going to make our money, because P time doesn't necessarily generate more P time unless we're mixing it with the I time, which we can do. And we've talked about those strategies, but ultimately what P time creates is a lot of everything else. We have to go do the business. We have to do these things, which leads to then like, oh, we need to get more business somewhere. And we start thinking about marketing and operations and all of these things. And E-time is great. Like there's some things that we need to do, but all those things also aren't going to generate any new business.
Yeah.
It's the I-time that creates the business. And so if you wanted to look back and say, hey, did I have a successful week? It's not the closings. It's not the commissions. Those are great. Those are like the high fives and the celebrations. But if I had a successful week, I want to look back and be like, I had a lot of great conversations. And I've done this, Garrett, even like, so this isn't just for active real estate agents. I'll look at my week and say, did I talk to enough people this week to say that, hey, I've had a successful week of business? Did I have enough outbound communication to people where I was able to learn about people, build relationships, or deliver some value to people that I could say is a success as it relates to my business?
Yeah.
And some weeks that the answer is no.
Well, I'm looking at this like a new restaurant. You watch a restaurant open up in town, and the whole thing is like, we're going to open up this restaurant, and our goal is we're going to serve pizzas, and they're going to be awesome. People are going to love our pizzas. I know, because it's my grandmother's recipe and it's absolutely incredible. And
like pizza,
all we need is people to come in and try the food, and we're going to be successful because the food is so darn great. When you talk about a lead, Matt, and you go, okay, so what is it? Buying leads? Is it whatever? No. A lead is anybody that knows about our product and has the opportunity to use it or not. Like that's the lead. So when you look at that and say, okay, so who in our town knows about this restaurant that we just opened up? Well, what do we need to do to have people understand that we even exist? Well, we got signage. And are we on a busy street? Maybe that'll help. We got people driving by going, oh, look at that, a new restaurant. Isn't that cool? Like, we should go check that out. There's the other side of it of like, well, we can go to the local concert that's going downtown here, and we can hand out free appetizer coupons for people to come in and check out the restaurant and have a free beer on us, and come and enjoy the outdoor seating, and let them know that we have rooftop seating. We're the only place in town that has rooftop seating also. And we can sell that. We can do newspaper ads. We can hire an airplane to go fly above the town and write in smoke the name of our restaurant and have the whole town going, what is this? What is that? Like, who is this? Like, who did that? Oh, that's that new restaurant in town. What restaurant in town? You know the one, the pizza joint. Like, this is the EyeTime type of activities that gets people talking, gets people knowing what you're doing, gets people understanding what's going on. So then they can come in and use your service when they need it, or they can refer to it when they need it. And in real estate, a lot of it is just relationship building. It's being in the flow of people. It's being connected with people. And Matt, we've talked about it a lot of like, you can build a lot of great friends. Like, you need to balance this out with the great relationships and also the things that make people go like, oh yeah, and this is also the useful purpose they serve, which is real estate. But EyeTime is like, if we don't have any of this stuff going out, if we don't have the airplane, I'm not saying hire an airplane and fly it above the town, but
be expensive.
If you don't have that type of stuff happening, you are just a restaurant sitting in the strip mall going, when are people going to show up? I don't understand. Don't they realize how great our pizzas are? And that's too bad. Like that I watched that happen with so many businesses. And it's like, no. Before anybody can experience this, you need to be out there helping people understand exactly what it is that you offer, exactly what it is that's going on in here. And this is the EyeTime. And Matt, I'm a believer when you're looking at your business, especially when you're trying to get a business off the ground, your days should be primarily EyeTime. You should be able to look at an 8-hour day go, look, I got to get this business off the ground. I got to get this thing going. It's not standing behind the pizza oven going, I'm ready for it any moment now, any moment. I'm waiting. Like, here it comes. Orders are going to start coming in. No, you need to be out. You need to be out talking to people, communicating with people. You should be able to look at your day and your calendar at the end of it and go, I put in 5 hours of my 8-hour day into EyeTime. The biggest challenge, Matt, that I want to chat with you about also is that once the business is cranking, once the business is going and we've got all this clientele coming in, I watch a lot of restaurants die. They just go, well, now that we've got the clientele, we're golden. We're great. Look at this. And they stop doing the EyeTime. And all of a sudden they're like, what happened? It's not like it used to be. Well, look back what you did when you were launching this business.
Yeah. And, there is a difference too from the launch, because I know people will be going 5 hours. Oh my goodness. Like, that's a lot of time. I don't have 5 hours in the day. It's like, well, if your business is already humming, you may not need that. But I'll just say at a baseline though, like 1 to 2 hours, like every day, even if your business is humming along. And here's the thing, it starts to weave in. So using the restaurant example for pizzas, because my favorite pizza truck here in Charleston is awesome. And every time I have the opportunity, well, except when I'm eating only meat like I am right now, I'm there getting a pizza, right?
You just get a stack of pepperoni. Can you just give me a stack of pepperoni, please? Just leave the bread and the cheese off to the side, no sauce.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just going to eat pepperoni. And they're not really in flow with me. Their flow is when they're there, when they're present at these places, like, they're great. We have conversations. There's a lot of interaction. They do some social media, but their flow is, because they're a food truck, they get to go around and be in all these locations. And their primary flow is with the business owners, because they don't necessarily need to draw people into their business. They need to have places to go set up their business at other businesses. So they're always at the breweries, the wine shops, and stuff like that. So they're doing that flow, which then I get to see that through other things. And so my point in sharing that is, everybody's going to have a different way of how flow is going to work for them and how that EyeTime is going to work for them. But if it doesn't happen, like if Doughboys is not on the phone talking to their brewers saying, hey, are we set up for next week? We're going to be there. We're going to do this. They're not going to have locations, and they're not going to be able to sell pizzas. If you're a standalone restaurant, if you're not sending out flyers, if you're not thanking your customers as they come in and out and creating that experience and getting EyeTime when you're in P time as well, they're not going to come back, right? And they're not going to go tell their friends about it. As a realtor, if you are not talking to your people after you close a transaction, if you're not asking them, how is the home? How is the move? How's the new job that you moved here for? How is the new school for your kids that you moved into this district for? How's the pool in the backyard that you moved to this house for? If you're not talking to them about those things, they will forget about you. Doesn't matter if you're doing a ton of other deals over here with new people, because once you are done with those deals and you're not talking to them anymore, all of a sudden the business is gone.
Yeah.
So you have to be talking to your people, and that's the EyeTime becomes the most important. And even when we're busy, I know it's hard. I'm not saying this is easy. This is hard to do. But if you get control of it, you're going to have probably too much business, which is a great problem to solve, because that goes into overflow, where we can then refer some stuff out and really kind of lean into what we were talking about before, Garrett, is not only leaning into your brand, but then just working with the people that you absolutely love working with. But this is why when we say EyeTime has to happen, pretty much every day. I mean, obviously you take days off and things like that, but
can I disagree with you for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. You can always disagree with me for more than a second if you'd like.
All right, good. I feel pretty confident in our relationship now that I can just put it out there on the table like that. I don't think it's hard. I actually don't think it's hard at all. I think it's hard because people fail to plan. They fail to get ahead of it. And I think that if you are trying to fit it into a schedule that's already out of control and not built out and has no actual structure to it, yes, finding extra time to go do stuff, just like finding time to go get to the bank sometimes is like a struggle, because it's like, we got to fit it into this already crazy schedule that we've already created. But if you get ahead of it and you start writing out and saying, okay, every single day at this time, I'm going to come in, and before I turn my email on, before I do anything else, I'm going to do these activities. if I can look at that and say, okay, at the end of the day, middle of the day, like I've got a block set up in here that I'm going to be able to, show up and do these activities that are going to grow my future business, grow my future relationships, make sure that I'm 100% on point with EyeTime activities that I can be like, look, I got at least an hour in every single day. If you plan ahead, it's not hard. The problem is most of us are just trying to fit it in. And yeah, that is really difficult to fit into a crazy calendar and schedule of kids and relationships and other stuff that we've got happening in our world. And this is a prime example. This week right now is what we call Cool April Nights in Redding, California. And it is an entire week of amazing relationship opportunities, car shows all over town. It's like my favorite week of the entire year. I can blink and I have missed every single car show that I could possibly have taken my car to and gone to. It takes me sitting down and getting on with my friends and talking about them and saying, hey, which ones do you guys want to go to? Which ones are important? Tonight, we're going to the drag strip. We're taking our cars 2:30 today. We're heading down there. And from 2:30 to 6 o'clock, we're going to all be sitting down at the drag strip with probably 100 other people standing around talking about cars. If I had not set that up 4 days ago, I would have easily gone, oh crap, I missed all the events. Like, it's just getting ahead of it is what it is. It's just having a plan to it. By the way, all EyeTime, by the way, just so we're all clear, that is 3 hours of me sitting around and meeting people and talking to people and connecting with people of this town and building stronger relationships, and all EyeTime to my world and to my business. So
100%.
I get just planning ahead. I would not say that it's hard. It's just planning ahead. Maybe that's the hard part for a lot of people, but hardest part is trying to fit it in afterward.
I think that is the hard part. Yeah, sometimes the hard part is the commitment, because we're just trying to take it day by day. And like, yeah, your days are going to fill up. There's going to be emails. There's going to be calls, particularly if you're a really busy agent. There's going to be a lot of inbound. And, the commitment, one of the tools I've been using lately and for a while now is these things called productivity sheets, which are sold by Intelligent Change, which is the company that makes the 5-minute journal. And what I love about it is it's a sheet, and it has 5 things broken down to most important tasks, secondary tasks, and additional tasks. Now, I treat them all the same for myself personally, but it's 5 things that need to be done. And then there's some notes at the bottom. If you use something like that for your EyeTime and you get really intentional and say, hey, I need to call this person, I need to do this, and you really plan out even who you're going to, and we've talked about this before too, being intentional with your EyeTime, it does get easy and also becomes non-negotiable. And I'll say easy in terms of it's easy to follow through. It may be hard in the moment because you're like, it was me last night at 9 o'clock writing my 2 notes that I committed to do yesterday, that I was, hanging out with the girls. We got them to bed a little later. Jen and I hung out on the back porch for a while chatting. And then I was like, oh man, I got to go do my notes. And I was like, all right, let me go. I could have blown it off, right? It would have been an easy thing to say, hey, blown off, but I made the commitment to it. And the next day, if I blew it off, I'd be like, well, it was hard to fit in because I ran out of time. Or say, it was easy because I made the commitment and I followed through. So it kind of also depends on your perspective of hard and easy. And I always like to err on the side of like, if we put the easy perspective, even though I said it's hard because I want to be empathetic, it does get easier to do for sure.
Well, I think there's a place where it becomes who you are. You take ownership of it. And a lot of the hard stuff that a lot of people go like, how in the world does that person show up and do that all the time? Like, that's really hard. Well, it's not part of your routine. It's not part of your DNA of how you've decided of how you show up on an everyday basis. A lot of the ones that get really good at it is they take ownership of it. They create a belief of that's who I am. This is what I do. Just like John Israel created a belief around himself of I write notes, and now that's his thing. Where at first it was difficult, it was hard, and he had to lean into it. And now it's just like, well, no, that is just something I do. And I think as you build an identity around it, it becomes easier and easier and easier. I think first part is that you need to take ownership of this is something I want to do. This is something I want to do consistently. And then you need to schedule it. You need to make time for it because 168 hours, that's the hours we got in this week. No more, no less. You got the same as me. I got the same as you. We're all going to use this time differently. A lot of us are going to use it watching TikTok. A lot of us are going to watch it, on Facebook. Some of us are going to be listening to podcasts for a lot of that time. Some of you might be doing yard work for the entire time. It really comes down to how are you going to use your time effectively to get to where you want to go. And when we talk about EyeTime, this is time directly set aside to grow your future business, to make sure you are building what you want to build to get to where you want to go. And Matt, the reason we wanted to talk about this is because we watch so many people that are sitting around waiting for the P time to show up in their world. And that's like sitting around waiting for a six pack. Like it doesn't happen just on its own. We're all of a sudden like, how did you get here? Like, look at you. Like, look at me in the mirror. My goodness, how did this happen? It doesn't happen that way. The EyeTime is going to the gym and putting in the work.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting in there and working out. And I think that's the connection has to be made. And when you get the connection understood, then it's like, oh, I need to go to the gym every single day. That's how I get these results that I want to have. It doesn't just show up.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And I'll give everybody a challenge as we wrap this up here is open up your calendar, look at this coming week and the next week. Is there any EyeTime on there right now? For a lot of people, the answer is going to be no.
No.
And what you need to do is go put that EyeTime on the calendar, right? And start just by getting it on there. And then you can maybe even schedule a time for you to sit down and plan what exactly is going to happen in those activities. So it's not just an hour of power. It is an hour of calling these 10 people and make it specific, make it actionable so you actually follow through.
Here's what's funny, Matt. What is on there? Showing property, listing presentations, clients coming in from out of town, closings, inspections.
Right.
I guarantee you, any of you go look in your calendar, all that stuff is scheduled in because you need to make sure you have time to do it. You got to show up. Your clients are counting on you, all this kinds of stuff. The thing that is lacking, and I guarantee it, is your EyeTime activities to grow new and future business. And even if you don't have a lot of closings, a lot of showing property, a lot of listings right now, it still will get the time on your calendar. And then we wonder why we don't have the business that we want to have. So,
yep.
I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in, as you always do. Matt and I love showing up and providing as much value as we possibly can with the time that we have to be able to do it. If you want to go check out Ninja Selling, go to ninjaselling.com. If you want to go check out our amazing group of people on Facebook, go to Ninja Selling Podcast Community. Huge, amazing amount of people in there that you can grow and support, and they can support you. And in the meantime, Matt, thanks, man, for another great morning.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, absolutely. It always is great. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We love you. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like more, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com.
There you will also find links for more information about ninja selling and coaching. Have an incredible day.